What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the RPO College Football Podcast. I'm your host, Trevor. And we got my guy, my favorite guy in the world, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Ray Roberts. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, Jerome. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. So we are a week away from the draft, and want to see how we want to get some reactions. We on a different day than normal, usually on Wednesdays. But we're gonna start off on talk about the draft today and some crazy stuff that happened, man. First round was a doozy in total in general. The draft is crazy. We're gonna talk a little bit about it, but we're gonna go through the first round today. But I kind of want to go through what's our overall thoughts on the draft in general right now because it was a very interesting draft. Ray, what's some of your intake from what happened last week?
Well, I mean, like usual, it's very intriguing. You like to see what people think. I was kind of surprised about the fact that there was only quarterback in the first round. I was surprised and I was proud in a way because we've been saying for months that these quarterbacks shouldn't be taken in the first round. And the NFL, for once, was actually almost smart enough not to do it. So,
Yeah, for real. So I agree with that. It was just a good first a good draft in general. I think as far as a lot of teams didn't get bad grades in my point. But like you said, the quarterback situation really surprised me actually. I mean, if you guys haven't seen, we did the mock draft last week, and I got the only quarterback on the board. I got it right to the correct team at the correct spot. So applaud to me a little bit. But Kenny Pickett at 20 was literally the only quarterback drafted in not only the first round, but the first two rounds. Insane. Like, great. Have you ever seen a draft anything like this?
no, I've never seen where you had only one quarterback go in the first round. Never.
It's crazy. I never. And Ray, we were, and I was pretty confident about saying this. I was like, teams are gonna overdraft quarterbacks. It's gonna happen. It happens every year. And man, it really told a big story. And I think one of the biggest things was Malik Willis not going in the first or second round either. And he wasn't even the second quarterback pick.
That'll prove out to be a mistake, but that's fine.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, time will tell. I don't want to put any speculations on that, but overall, I do feel like a lot of teams improved the draft status. Um, a lot of teams did, a lot of teams did well. A lot of teams got the a lot of needs and value for those players. Also, I don't think there was a lot of reaches. There might have been like one or two, and we talk about that later on. But let's talk about our favorite teams now. Ray, I know your team didn't have all the draft picks that you probably wanted to, but hey, you got Tyreek Hill, so I'm sure you're happy about that. But for the other picks that you guys did have, how did you feel about your draft?
I love Channing Tindall. I think he was a good pick. I like that. I mean, Eric Ezekara, I believe the wide receiver's name is. I was a little surprised about that, but not when I saw that what type of a player he is. I was just a little surprised about not. I didn't think they really needed to draft a quarterback. I mean, a wide receiver there, but I like the pick. I like him. Of course, I like Tyndall. The other edge guy they took from California, I thought was a solid pick. Taking a backup quarterback again, it's weird because I think the depth of the draft caused teams to draft a little bit differently. Where why take an offensive line? Because Miami, to me, they needed an offense. They need to improve their offensive line.
Yeah,
And they really did very little to do through the draft. They did do a decent job of free agency, but they didn't do anything in the draft. And I think they felt like the guys that they would get as undrafted free agents were going to be just as good as the guy they were going to draft in the seventh round.
hmm yeah.
So,
I mean, there was a lot of talk about this class being so depth heavy because of COVID and a lot of players not really coming out a year and had that COVID eligibility. So a lot of players were slipping out. But my thing, I mean, right, I just the same thing you're saying, right? With Miami Dolphins, I didn't expect y'all not to get an offensive lineman at all. But with the picks that you did pick, I do like them. I'm not 100% sure on the Texas Tech wide receiver. I don't know him that well, so I'm not gonna speculate that. But he was a fourth round pick for you guys. Cameron Gibbs, a good edge rusher, like you said, Ray.
Mhm.
Skylar Thompson, Ray. You know how much I like Skylar Thompson. I didn't think he's gonna get drafted.
I didn't think he was going to get drafted
If he
either.
was, going to be in the seventh round. But the way that the quarterbacks were falling, I'm like, man, people like Skylar Thompson and a whole bunch of other players are not going to get drafted. And then Cole, I'm sorry, he's on my team now, for Nevada.
Quarterback. Yeah.
Carson Strong. There you go.
Carson
Strong not getting drafted at all, but he's going to the Eagles, which I'm happy about. But like that confused me. He didn't get drafted, but Skylar Thompson did, so that was a little weird for me.
No, that surprised me too. I think they look at him stylistically that they drafted the guy who they thought fit their offense the best. I think.
Definitely. And we got our first commenter right down here. That is Facebook user. I'm looking for your name right now. But Facebook user says that Miami is stacked at wide receiver at the moment. I agree. Y'all got a lot of good players. I had honestly, I'm not gonna, and that's Remy. What's up, Remy? Thank you for being on, sir. Even before y'all got Tyreek Hill, I liked your receivers, and the fact that now you got Tyreek Hill with it, it's like insane.
Yeah, I mean, I think that to upgrade to Cedric Wilson, and of course that I just think that the depth of wide receivers really is very good on Miami. Like where last year we had one receiver that contributed the whole year, and everybody else was either hurt or weren't playing. I mean, it was frustrating because we signed Will Fuller to a contract, and he got on the field for like a quarter, and that was pretty much it the whole year. I really like what we did at wide receiver. I think that's why I think this kid they need to bring in one more. I think through free agency or draft. I think they just chose to do it with the draft. So
yeah, no, I agree, and I like what you guys did for the little amount of picks you have. But let's talk about my team because I'm very selfish. I like talking about my own team. Ray, how do you feel about the Eagles draft? Because
I thought the Eagles I thought they had a good draft. We both have our thoughts on the Jordan Davis pick. I think that he was an overvalued player, but I mean, I'm not going to go crazy. I honestly thought, now this is going to sound stupid now, I thought they moved up to take Kyle Hamilton. I really did at first. I thought they were going to take.
I was so happy. It was either Kyle Hamilton or Jordan Davis, and it was Jordan Davis. And I actually shouted a curse word, and my roommates heard me. So
I mean, I'm not in no means saying that Jordan Davis isn't going to be a good player because I believe he is going to be a good player. I just don't think he is as impactful as what they could have gotten in that spot. That's all. I don't think that you move up to take interior defensive linemen unless they're Warren Sapp, Jerome Brown. Okay, you don't take a guy who's a run stopper.
And we gave up a lot of picks for him. We gave up a pretty good amount of picks for him too.
Yeah, I mean, I thought for sure they moved up because Kyle Hamilton fell.
Yeah.
And honestly, Jerome, I think, and I know people are going to say, well, and you know me, I would usually value a defensive lineman over a defensive back if he were that guy.
Mm-hmm.
If you were getting, I mean, as much as I say, if you were getting Aiden Hutchinson or if you were getting Tavon Thibodeau, I'd be like, good move. Not for an interior lineman, man. I'm just not going to do it. It's not how the game is played right now.
Yeah. Before I give my take on the Eagles, Remy says, who's the starting running back for Miami, by the way? I'm drawing a blank. I believe it's Myles Gaskin, right?
Well, he was a starter last year.
Oh, wait, no, but y'all got Mostert now. So
man, we got Raheem Mostert, and we got the kid from Arizona too. We brought him in and signed him to a contract.
Who's that? Not James Conner.
No, they didn't sign Conner. The other kid, the little scat back type one.
Oh yeah, I know who. Oh man, blanking on his name.
I
But he,
actually I like him. I think that running back is going to be a running back by committee, and they still have Miles Gaskin who will be in the mix.
yeah.
So that's fine. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, you don't have the that guy, but like you have a good mix of guys, which
Well,
is fine.
that's pretty much how the running back position is played right now, though, right?
Exactly. And plus, dude, your wide receivers are gonna be fine. Like you could do wide receiver screens that will be like a run and play for you guys too. So y'all be fine. Y'all
You're
will
going
be
to see. I think you're going to definitely see where they're going to do a lot of different things on offense this year. Where you're going to see a lot of jet sweeps and
hmm
wide receivers get the ball in space
yeah.
quickly. I think that's
Yeah.
going to be the. I think that's
You
going to
got
be the
a
game
lot of
plan
guys.
most of the time.
You got a lot of guys on your team that could do stuff like that too.
I mean, I just to me it all comes down to is the offensive line better, and right now it's better from a depth value for sure, but I still have to see it on the field.
Yeah, 100%. Remember says Eagles had a pretty good draft. By the way, I feel like they could have gotten some steals late in the draft. Bell or Milton, I wish were the ones that had been drafted. Can never have enough receivers. No, I agree with that. I did think the Eagles gonna go into the draft getting at least. Well, I'm gonna say two, I was thinking maybe two, one late, one early, but I realized once that Jordan Davis draft that we gave up two other picks. So when we did that, I was like, okay, that's not gonna be a thing. But once we got AJ Brown, I'm gonna include AJ Brown in this draft too because that was incredible. I mean, I don't think I've ever been as happy with that. I thought that was great to see that. Wilson is definitely a speedster. We would really need. I do agree with that. But don't forget about
Watkins,
Quiz Watkins.
yeah.
He is a speedster too. Don't sleep on Devonte Smith. He's a speedster as well. So we got some speed guys. I'm happy we got somebody that's a little bit more sturdy as a receiver and that can have possession. So I really love the AJ Brown trade. That was excellent. I love that. Dude, we're sleeping on a third round pick right there. N'Kobe Dean in the third round. Oh my dude, when we passed him up in the second round, I was like, all right, we're not getting a linebacker. We're gonna get some Smo name linebacker and put him back there, and it's gonna be like, oh, we gotta compete. It's gonna be T.J. Edwards, which I don't hate T.J. Edwards, but he's not that guy. We got N'Kobe Dean, and it's crazy because it was a lot of people saying, oh, he's gonna redshirt this year. He have injury issues, this and that, which he did have some injury issues. Don't get me wrong on that. But they had practice today, and he was a full participant. So, jokes on you guys. Um,
Yeah, I saw that. I think that again the Eagles had a good draft. I would have tweaked it here and there, maybe in my mind made it a little bit better. I love the AJ Brown pickup. I think that's a good move for you. I think that you have a nice complement of wide receivers where you have a route runner, you have a physical guy in AJ Brown, and now you have the speed guy to go along with him. And you're still pretty good at tight end. So I think you're fine receiver wise. And I think honestly, I'm expecting to see some improved player out of Jalen Hurts. I'm not going to say I think I will. I still don't think I'll see a guy with a good enough arm to be a game like to be a real difference, but I think he could be a solid point guard, to use an analogy, as a quarterback for the Eagles. So we'll see.
So Ray, you see this comment right here? You want to know who that is? That's our old friend,
Alan?
Alan Howard. Dang, what's going on, Alan? It's great to see you. Great to hear from you, man. I appreciate you. Obviously, he's in Tennessee, so he's gonna say some. Have fun with AJ in 4 games of the year. Hey, listen, man. That could have been on y'all.
Yeah, man. I saw a lot of people criticize Miami for kind of like trading.
Alan is definitely back. What's up, Alan?
Devontae Parker, I heard a lot of criticism about Miami. Talk about a guy who is an injury list. I mean, every year. I mean, the guy's played one year where he's played more than 10 games. So
Definitely. I love the trade. We needed picks. Yeah, I mean, Alan, if that's what you want us to say to yourself, hey, I mean, y'all did need picks. Don't get me wrong. But we got a proven commodity, and you guys got two picks, first round and a fourth round. So, hey, I'm okay with it. Jalen Burks for 30 minutes feeling. I Hey, you're right. You're 100% right. But also, we got somebody that's proven, somebody that we know, and he don't have to necessarily be number one because we got Devonte Smith. He could be number two if it don't work out like that. So I'm not worried about the other stuff. I'm just ready to get on the field now. So I think Alan, I hear what you're saying, and I hear all the things that could go wrong, but I'm not even worried about it because I just think that when's the last time the Eagles had a really good receiver like this? I mean, T.O., Deshaun Jackson. After that, it's like, so we Eagles haven't had a really good receiver in a while, so I'm fine with that. Alan is in Texas now? What you doing in Texas? Hey, Alan, you're in Texas. I'm now in Georgia. So there you go. Actually, good deal for both sides. Uh,
I
okay.
mean, I agree with that. I think that AJ Brown brings a comfort level, especially the fact that he has a relationship with the quarterback. I think that's a good thing. I think that Tennessee got, well, let's face it, they needed a little cap space because they overpaid their quarterback. So
Yeah, it would have been nice that Jets would have given number 10. Yeah, y'all really would have loved that pick. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just Eagle biased. I just think the Eagles got the better half of that trade. Couldn't play him high paid quarterback. No, you're right. You are right. You're right about that. That's a good observation with that part. So I get that, Alan. So yeah, with the Eagles, I really love their draft. Like you said, Ray. Defensive line, I was kind of concerned about that. I mean, the Jordan Davis thing. I do like it a little bit more because the main reason that I didn't want him on this team because I wasn't sure if the Eagles was trying to play a 3-4 or a 4-3. It's looking like they're gonna do 3-4 now. So with that being said, I love the pick a lot more now. Also, the fact that we got AJ Brown that helped out a lot, and then Kobe Dean in the third round. I am completely fine with our draft. I love our draft. I'll give our draft an A, um, not an A plus, but A. There's not a lot of teams that don't have A to B plus range. Honestly, it was a lot of good drafting this
yeah, I
year.
mean, again, because of the amount of talent that was out there, I think everybody looks like they did really well. I mean, again, it depends on how many guys get on the field and how long it takes them to get out there. I think the Eagles had a good draft. I do. I think that there's only one or two teams that I thought didn't do that great in the draft, and I guess we'll talk about them later down the road. To be honest with you.
Definitely, I definitely like Simmons. So that's a good that you have money for Simmons. If you look at the Eagles' depth chart, that would be the best D tackle in the league. Yeah, we got a lot of good D tackles right now, and it's insane. And another reason why I think a 3-4 will work. I mean, it might not. It'll be great for Fletcher. It'll be great for JD. But I don't know about what's his name, the other one, Hargrove. It might he might be out of his element a little bit, but I'm not super worried about that. If the other two are going to be really good too, so we'll see. I like it.
Where
I
do you
like
think Fletcher Cox is going to play? Going to play three tech?
yeah.
I mean, really, I think he's okay. If you remember, he didn't play there there when Chip Kelly was here.
Yeah, that's true. We got Milton too, like he said. He said we have four because I forgot about Milton too. Man, that's a good D
I mean,
tackle.
I still don't think you have to worry about the rush because you're going to get it from your outside linebackers. It's fine. I just don't know. I don't know, man. I'm not as bit high on it as on Jordan Davis as other people are. I guess as maybe it comes down to that. I mean, I think he's a good player, and I think he'll be fine. I just don't. I didn't see the
No,
value in the middle of the first round. That's all.
I totally hear you, Ray. I totally hear you. I do like their 6th round pick. Karen Johnson. I think he's strictly pass rusher though. so he'd be good to have in there. And again, especially if you're gonna do 3-4 like that, and then I'm not gonna try to say his name, Grant Catara. See, that's why I didn't want to try it.
Oh, terrible. I actually like him a little bit. I do.
Yeah, I like him. And I am happy the Eagles did draft a tight end. I was saying that before the draft process that I think the Eagles should get a tight end. So I like it. I'm kind of disappointed that we didn't get a corner. That'll probably be the only thing that I didn't think. Actually, we didn't get a secondary player at all.
That surprised me a little bit.
That concerns me a little bit. I will say that.
Well, I think that they're going to go into the season and try to patch Miller a little bit on the one side, and then they have Slay on the other side. I think they'll be okay there. Again, I just thought maybe they should have just stayed where they were and taken a corner there. But, whatever,
I do also feel like Howie really thought he was going to get Tyrann Mathieu, to be honest, too. So he was allowing some of the people kind of slide down. He's like, all right, Tyrann Mathieu is our backup, and then Tyrann Mathieu went up going to the Saints. Because honestly, I think the Eagles had a better deal for Tyrann, which is the reason why Tyrann was like, I'll wait until after the draft, but then Tyrann was like, I'm going home. So,
I mean, I think that's the reason why he did that. I don't know. I don't think if you're going to the Saints, you're going there thinking you're going to win a Super Bowl. So I guess it was just right?
Yeah, no, 100%. So I think that's what happened, and it is what it is. I'm not gonna cry over spilled milk, and we're just gonna figure out. Hey, we got Mike Epps, not Mike Epps. Jeez, that's a comedian. Epps, forget his first name. But let's get to our first round reactions, Ray, and we're gonna go straight down the line because. We're gonna talk about some of these draft picks, man. Because, like I said, round one is a doozy. One quarterback, a ton of defensive players, a ton of offensive linemen. So let's get straight to it, Ray. Number one, the Jags taking not who most people thought it was actually Travon Walker from Georgia. Ray, real quick thoughts on that one.
Didn't like the pick. I don't like it. I think Travon Walker is a good football player. I think that again, I would have taken Thibodeau there. I know I'm not, I'm not thinking what other people are, I guess, because a lot of other people didn't like Thibodeau as much as I did. But I think if you're going to take an edge rusher, you take him. I think Travon Walker is a good player, but he reminds me of Eric Armstead. And when in Georgia, they would let him go against the weakest of the offensive linemen, no matter if it was right or left tackle or even inside sometimes. And he's good there. Mm-hmm. But I think like Armstead was good too. But if you remember when they tried to just play Armstead as an outside edge rusher, he would get engulfed by bigger tackles. I think that Travon Walker is going to have – if he has 8 sacks this year, that would be a good year for him.
I think and he says, I'm with you, Ray, not enough production. I agree with that. I just think I think he was locked in number one draft pick. First round draft pick. But my issue is when you go purely off of talent more than production for the first overall pick, that can get you in some trouble. I mean, for me, if I have the first overall pick, I'm trying to pick the safest pick I can get. Sorry.
If you're doing that, then honestly, you take Evan Neal and say, there's my left tackle for the next 10 years. I'm good.
Yeah, and I would have loved that. I would have loved it.
That would have been my pick if I were making that pick. Or I would have tried to move back 2 or 3 spots and then take a Neal there or a combo.
I just think when you have the first overall pick, you can't risk it on chances,
Correct.
Just going for the most athletic guy, I mean, that can really – I mean, again, I hope it works out for them, but –
No, it'll be fine. I think he's going to be a good, solid player.
I agree.
But you better understand that he's a scheme player, not a guy who's going to beat guys on his own. Again, if I'm going to take an edge guy, I would take Hutchinson. I would take Thibodeau, but I'm not taking him.
Correct.
Or I'm taking Evan Neal. And I'm going to say, again, my left tackle was solid for the next 10 years. Yeah. I'm not taking – Travon Walker on the thought of what he can be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I understand. If you use him the right way, he'll be a good productive player for you. But that's the thing. Like, I don't want a guy that if I use him the right way, I want a guy to come in here who, like Hayden Hutchinson, will come in there and be a really good run defender and get to the quarterback. Or Thibodeau, who's going to be a double-digit sack guy probably his first season. I'm not taking a guy who's scheme dependent. I'm just not. I don't think – is Treylon Walker, where does he fit in Georgia's defense? Is he just first best player, the second best player, the third best player, the fourth best player? But you took him with the first pick in the draft. It doesn't make any sense to me.
No, I agree. I was hearing some rumblings about this happening, and I was just like, I just brushed it off like, come on. It's NFL.
You could argue that the Eagles got two of the better players in Georgia, better than Treylon Walker, at 15 and in the third round. Easily.
Yeah. Dean was
a better player for Georgia last year.
He was the best player on that defense.
He was the best. Him, the safety, Jordan Davis, they're the best three players on that defense. Treylon Walker's after them guys, but you took him with the first pick.
Yeah,
they're gonna regret that pick. This very simple, easily. You could see this kid getting five sacks this year, maybe 6 sacks this year, and that's what a good productive season. And
Trevor Lawrence would have been a solid core. I 100% agree.
Without a doubt, man. Again,
100% agree. And the thing was, they just re-signed what's his name? Greg Little. Is it Greg Little? That's one?
Yeah, he's not that good.
No. So I think when they re-signed him, they was like, all right, we can go in the draft, go into another position. First overall, you gotta get the best player. I'm sorry, and to me, that would have been Evan Neal for them. Evan Neal,
right?
Like you said, Hutchinson, or even Thibodeau. Even though I like Thibodeau a lot too, he has his issues with character and things like that. People don't really rub people the right way.
And you know what? I agree with that a lot. You know how I am, Jerome. I like guys that are good people also.
Yeah,
but I don't know Thibodeau. I mean, I know he's had some issues, but this is the NFL, man.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
The issues we came on Thibodeau are nothing compared to some of the guys who are in the league right now. So, come on, You're
not even going there on that one. All right, let's get to the second pick. We got Detroit Lions getting Aiden Hutchinson, my Michigan guy. I know you missed me saying that, Alan. What do you feel about this pick, Ray?
I like Aiden Hutchinson. I think he's a good player. Again, I would have taken Thibodeau here because I'm going to take the best, who I feel is the best edge player in the draft. But you can't go wrong with either one of them guys in this spot. So you're fine.
I absolutely love this pick. I felt like it made sense. Detroit guy going to the Lions. They got the best player in the draft. I'm sorry, in my opinion. I know I'm a Michigan fan, but I got to see this guy every game, and the only game that he really didn't play that well was one game, and I think that they did a really good job scheming him up. Honestly, I just think that and by the way, you Georgia fans was showing some video of him getting pancaked. It happens to everybody. Stop that. One play, he got pancaked. Everybody gets pancaked. Even the great Aaron Donald get pancaked. Come on. Let's stop. Anyway, but I do think it was he's smiling. But no, I love this pick. It made sense for them, and it's something where Detroit Lions team will have a lot of will really have some high hope because they got a guy that they've been watching also. So,
well, I think that he's a good player. Again, in my defensive mind that I think I have, I would say plays on first and second down and let strong side, lineman, left side of the defensive line, and then you move him inside and look for some mismatches so we can get to the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I like the pick. Number 3, we got another surprising pick right here. Houston Texans taking Derek Stingley Jr. Ray, what do you think about this one?
Well, I love Stingley. I think that there are some injury concerns, and I don't know if I would have taken him there, but I think that he's a good player. And if they wanted to take a guy with enough the upside to be the best corner in the draft, they probably did the right thing. But I again, good player, good solid pick. You know how I feel about drafting cornerbacks this early in the draft, Jerome. So that's never going to change.
No, yeah, I agree with most of what you're saying too, Ray. I think it's good player. I think it's a great fit for him. I think I love him to be there. Hurt too much for me. What do you mean by that? What was that? Allen hurt too much for me. Sauce instead.
I think the injury concern is he's not wrong about that.
He's saying he's hurt.
He's saying he would have taken Gardner from Cincinnati before him. I don't disagree with that.
And yeah, I agree with you. I think the upside is there. The upside for Stingley is there. I just think it's a little too rich at 3 with the uncertainty with him. You know, there's a lot of uncertainty with him. With like you say, injury 1, 2 production. Is he still going to be as good as he was as a freshman? You banking on the fact that maybe he can be back to being how he was as a freshman if he stays healthy. So that concerns me a lot.
I think the funny thing
is the pick, I just think it's too rich of a third overall pick.
If you remember when we had our mock draft, I think it was Corey that took him with like the 4th pick to the Jets, and we all kind of raised our eyebrows a little bit.
Yeah,
ooh, I love this player. I don't love where he was drafted. That's all.
No, I agree. And I would have loved him, in our mock draft, we have technically getting Evan. No, I would have loved that way more.
I think especially since you have a quarterback, and, I love Miles, their quarterback. I actually liked him coming out of college last year. I thought he was going to be a guy that you could get later in the draft that could turn out to be a decent quarterback. And I still think he could be. But I'd feel better if they had that left tackle that was protecting him because he's not a super big guy. You know what I mean? So.
No, 100%. And, all right, for the next pick, it's a good day for DBs, right, because we got Sauce Gardner going to the Jets. Ray, before we get to that, but if he stays healthy, they hit the lottery. I agree.
Agreed.
I agree with that.
Agreed. That's why, it just – with a top 5 or 10 pick, though, do you want to draft if, like Alan said, Sauce Gardner, you could project is going to be a good corner, and you don't have the injury concerns.
Yes, and we have 2 players that got that if tag on them in the top 5. That's like
correct. That's the problem.
So, but anyway, Sauce Gardner going to the Jets at 4. Ray, what was your thoughts on that one?
I like Sauce Gardner. I think he's a good football player. I think that the Jets got one of the top 2 or 3 corners, and they needed a good cornerback, and they got one in the top 5. I mean, this is probably where I thought that he would either go here to the Jets or maybe next to the Giants. So I think he was a good pick there.
No, I agree. And pairing him up with Bryce Hall, which I think is an underrated corner. I think putting them 2 together, you got 2 physical, long corners on the outside where can definitely play press man. I love the pick and the pairing of the 2. I think that's great. Bryce Hall was one of those players that first and foremost we interviewed him, but he was a guy that we thought could have went in the first round last year and had injury issues, fell to the 3rd round, and I was commended the Jets for getting him. So he's a very talented cornerback, and I think that pairing him up with Sauce, now you got Sauce, and you got that whole you got your secondary all set now. You got some players now. The Jets, man, Ray, your division's coming up a little bit, man.
The Jets. I honestly think the Jets had one of the best drafts of the whole draft. They did.
No,
they did it. Joe Thomas earned his paycheck this year for sure.
Missed that guy.
I know you do.
Joe Douglas, by the way.
Joe Douglas, that's right, yeah. Did a very good job, though. He had a nice – honestly, I think there's like 3 or 4 teams that I would say had probably the best drafts, and the Jets are right there with them teams. So
100%. 100%. All right, next pick. We got the New York Giants getting Thibodeau. Ray, what's your thoughts on that one?
You know how I feel, man. I think he was the best edge defender in the draft. I think the Giants are the other team along with the Jets that had a really good draft.
Yeah, what's up with these New York teams? The New York team in your division, New York team in my division, they both played.
They both had very good drafts. Baltimore, I think Baltimore had another really good draft. They did. There was a few teams in Seattle had a ridiculously good kind of normal draft for them.
Yeah, for them, yes.
Usually there's always one or two picks you like kind of scratch your head. And I was like, wow, that was a good, solid pick. So, yeah, I mean, we're going to go over him. They got Charles Cross. I mean, I was like, wow, that's a really good, there was no doubt. Charles Cross is a very good football player. That's a great pick. I was surprised.
Yeah. But, Thibodeau going to the Jets scares me a little bit. I'm happy the Eagles got a really good offensive line now because, man, seeing him in my division kind of scares me a little bit. But we got to go against Thibodeau now on top of Chase Young, on top of Michael Parsons. Man, I'm happy you got a good offensive line for real because, man, if we didn't, it would be horrible. So yeah, that's how I feel about that one. Let's go to the next one. Carolina Panthers passing up on a quarterback. A lot of people thought they was going to grab a quarterback here. Got the offensive lineman, Icky. Ray, what do you think about that one?
I like Iquanu, but I like Evan Neal more. If I was going to take an offensive tackle, I would have taken Evan Neal right there. That's all.
I like the pick still. I agree with you. I would have got Evan Neal instead. I think Evan Neal's a way better player. But I don't hate the pick at all, honestly. Because
no, I don't hate it. I just don't. I think that Evan Neal
could have got more out of another player. But yeah, honestly, I think obviously he went to North Carolina. So they got a little bit more scouting on him more than you would with Evan Neal that's in Alabama. So I get it. You've seen a player more. You trust what you see more when you see that player more than watching tape or whatever. So I get it.
I honestly like Charles Cross a little bit more than Iquanu too. So
yeah, yeah. I mean, it could have been like a little bit of a fan favorite kind of thing too. Like GM kind of look at that kind of things as well. That kind of plays into their evaluations as well. I'm not saying it's right, but it does happen. So, it wasn't a bad pick. Just it's not a bad pick. Just thought other players could have been there. Number 7, the New York Giants got Evan Neal. Now you know how I feel about Evan Neal. That was my guy. Got to meet him in person. Got to interview him in person. When he went to the Giants, I was pretty upset. I'm not gonna lie. What do you think about this pick?
Love it. I think the Giants again had a really good draft. They may have gotten, well, as far as I'm concerned, they got the best edge defender and the best offensive tackle, both top 3 or 4 players in the draft at 5 and 7. I mean, there's what else is there to really say about it? I mean, it was just really the Giants got rid of that stank called Dave Gettleman, and they did a really good job this year.
Yeah. Evan Neal is definitely one of the best tackles in the last couple of years to come
out. Plus, you put him with the tackle they drafted from Georgia 2 years ago. I mean, wow, man, your offensive line is going to be stellar.
I'm happy we upgrade our pass rush. Dang.
You better hope.
I hope that Hassan Reddick be good for real because
I mean I think Reddick is going to be really good. You better hope that Fletcher Cox can do his job and take on them double teams on that edge. If not, dude, he's nothing. He's going to get manhandled by the tackles for the Giants.
That's crazy. It's going to be an interesting year. It's always fun, man, for sure. Yeah. All right, next pick we got the Atlanta Falcons. Now, I'm in Georgia. I heard all the crying. Man, the Falcons did not like this pick. I loved it. Drake London, Ray, you already know how I feel about Drake London. He was my wide receiver one for a while. And I don't like USC wide receivers. So if I say I like a wide receiver from USC, I really like him. So Drake London being the first receiver off the board. Ray, how you feel about this one?
I love Drake London. I think he's going to be one of the top stretch seam type possession guys in the league in the next couple of years. I would have taken Garrett Wilson there if you're going to take a wide receiver. But again, you're getting Drake London. You're going to get a really good football player eventually. So
Yeah.
it's fine.
And I like it because now you got Drake London, you got Kyle Pitts, you got two big guys that got really good, catch radius. So you don't have to worry about Mariota as much being 100% on target now. You can, he can throw it up to an area and one of these guys can go up and grab it. And I'm not concerned with London's separation. A lot of people were. I'm not. I think that everybody worried about the 40 time.
Yeah, man. It's like when people used to say the same thing about Alshon Jeffrey, Mike Gesicki, who's a tight end for Miami, even Devontae Parker. They're not guys that get great separation. What they do is they catch the ball at the high point of the ball, and then once they get the ball in their hands, they make plays for you. I mean, I like Drake London. I think that is a good pick. Again, I like Garrett Wilson because he's a little bit more of a route runner.
Yeah.
So, but I just think that you could have taken either one of them guys. You've got a good receiver, so you're fine. My only question with Atlanta is who's getting him the ball.
Exactly. Yeah. That was my only thing. So Mariota is going to be most likely the quarterback one. They did get rid of her later, so we'll see how that goes. But he was a third rounder, so Mariota probably got top priority right now, but we'll see. We'll definitely see how that goes. Next pick, we got the aforementioned tackle, Seattle getting Charles Cross. Ray, you already said it. How much you love this pick?
Love it, dude. I thought that, again, Charles Cross could have been the second tackle off the board as far as I was concerned. And again, it was an unusually sensible pick for Seattle, who usually doesn't make those type of picks. I mean, again, I thought Seattle had a really good draft, and I think that Charles Cross was the first part of that draft. He's a player who's going to come in. He's athletic. He's physical. I think he's a good player, and I expect him to be in Seattle for a while. So good for them.
I like what Seattle did, considering they traded Russell Wilson. I feel like they're getting back to the roots. They got Cross to be, a staple tackle. I mean, people were making jokes that, man, they finally got a good offensive line once Russell left.
That is kind of weird, though. It is weird.
But if you look at it, they're gonna try to run the ball, and you can tell, they got Kenneth Walker. I love that pick for them, and we're gonna talk about that later on in another podcast. But they got him. They're gonna try to run the ball and try to get to what they used to do as Seattle. They're when they were a really good team. So I like you said, Ray. They had a very, very good draft where normally we're scratching our heads on some of their picks. So I like it. I like that pick.
I mean, it used to be where no one would really care because they won. The last couple of years they haven't been as good, and you point the finger at the offensive line, and like you said, finally Russell Wilson gets frustrated and leaves, and the first thing they do is improve the offensive line. It's kind of weird. So
all right, next pick. Let's go. It was number 10, the second receiver going off the board. We got a little bit of receiver run right here. Garrett Wilson going to the Jets. Jets trading up to go get him. Ray, how you feel about this pick?
Love this pick, man. I think that he's the best wide receiver on my board in the draft. I think that he's going to be a difference maker. I think that the Jets very quietly had a really good draft. You could argue they got the best corner, best wide receiver, and the top 4 edge defender in the first round. That's 3 good picks, man.
Yeah. No, I like it for them. Good pairing up with Corey Davis. So I think that'll be a good one. I'm good. I'm doing pretty well remembering names today. Usually I'm getting stumped on the bum, picking up faster today. Um, but anyway, yeah, I love the pick. I think it'll be good for a young Zach Wilson. To have more weapons, kind of like what the Eagles did with Jalen Hurts. So I like it. I really do. All right, let's get to our next pick. Like I said, wide receiver run. We got Chris Olave going to New Orleans Saints. This is one of the. Oh, by the way, we did predict Charles Cross going to the Seattle, which is good on our mock draft last week. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. And we did predict Chris Olave here. So not at this spot, but we did get Chris Olave going to the Saints. What do you think about this pick, Ray?
I like Chris Olave. I just don't like him more than I would have taken Jameson Williams here. That's all.
Mhm.
I'm going to go for
agree.
a bigger upside. I think Olave is going to be a nice number 2 receiver on a good team. I think Jameson Wilson has to be a chance to be a number 1 receiver. I think if Jameson Williams doesn't get hurt, Alabama's a national championship. So,
I think they were happy in the year that Dimbo trade didn't work out. Oh, the Jets. Okay, got you.
yeah.
Wilson is good. Yes, I definitely agree with that. And cheap. Yes. But yeah, get back to Chris Olave. I do like the fit, and then you already know how the Saints are. They like their Ohio State guys for a reason. They always drafting and getting Ohio State guys. So they have they have a type. They definitely have a type. So that didn't surprise me too much. And when I seen that they drafted Olave, I'm like, all right, I get it. They like their guys that can run good routes, and that I think that'd be definitely good for Jameis Wilson to have better route runners rather than just straight speed guys. Jameson Williams was definitely still on the board, and I do agree with you. Jameson Williams is the better receiver, but I see why they would do it. So I'm not gonna ding him too much. Um, speaking of
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, I think the Saints are one of the teams that I really didn't think had a great draft, to be honest with you.
Yeah. He also says, Alan says, I'm with you, Ray. Jameson Williams was the best player in college football this year. He was. He definitely was. Don't get me wrong.
One of them for sure. So,
yeah. Speaking of Jameson Williams, he went next to the Detroit Lions at number 12. Detroit Lions traded all the way up from 32 to 12 to go grab him. And I think they got pretty good value with that trade, honestly.
They didn't give up a lot for some reason. I don't know why. They just didn't.
Yeah, they didn't. But yeah, so hey, man, they got Jameson Williams. They got a number 1 receiver now that they can pair him up with Amon St. Brown. I think, dude, they're building something with the Lions now, and you got another year to see how Jared Goff goes now. And got him some good weapons around him. Paired up that defense, and the defense still needs some work, but it's better. See how Jared Goff does this year. Another year under his belt with the Lions.
And the nice thing for the Lions is if Goff doesn't work out, they have 2 number 1 picks next year to move up and get a quarterback.
Yeah. So I think what the Lions did, man, they did well. I like their pick, and Jameson Williams is definitely one of the best receiver in this draft. Although I had Drake London higher, but I think that Jameson Williams' injury was later in the season, so had him.
What I would say is this: I think Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Jameson Williams. Looking at the other receivers that were taken in the first round, they're all number 1 receivers. They all could be line up wherever you want them to line up and be number 1 type receivers. I think a Chris Olave, a Johan Dotson are number 2 receivers. I would tend to take them later in the first round if I was going to take them at all. That's all.
Alan says, "Yup," and the Lions quarterback will have a number 1 receiver already there.
Makes sense.
He's not even giving Jared Goff a chance. Okay.
I mean, you know what, though, Jerome? I'm used to that. I mean, you're talking about a guy like I'm a Miami Dolphins fan, and what annoys me is like the people that were pounding the desk 2 seasons ago or 3 seasons ago to take to take Tua over Justin Herbert are the same guys that are throwing the talent on him now. It's really frustrating. I mean, Jared Goff is a good, solid quarterback, but that's all he is a good, solid quarterback. He's Ryan Tannehill, with maybe a little better arm talent, but not quite as athletic. They're only going to take you so far. They can only get to a certain level, and then they'll plateau there. That's what you saw with the Rams. The Rams like Jared Goff is a good player, but we don't want a good player. We want an exceptional player, so they got themselves an exceptional quarterback. I don't disagree with him. I think that there is a possibility that Detroit will move on from Jared Goff. The question is Jared Goff going to allow it to happen? Can he go out there and do something that make it so it doesn't happen? That's yet to be determined. I mean, like, if
that happens, that's better for the Lions. Then they got extra picks, and it's kind of like the Eagles. It's better for the Eagles. Hey, if it hurt, work out. It's better for both teams because both teams.
Jared Goff was in the Super Bowl 3 seasons ago, man.
Mm-hmm.
People kind of just forgot about that, didn't they? Don't get me wrong. The Rams are a good team. But what you saw in the game against New England is outside of structure, Jared Goff can't do anything.
Yeah.
That's true. If you put pressure on him and get him out of the pocket and getting off his spot, he's not a good quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
We understand that. So the focus on Detroit or anybody else who would have a guy like Goff is give him a strong running game. Don't put him in a position to make the mistakes. That's all.
Definitely. No, I agree. All right, let's run through these really fast because we're running a little bit behind on time. So Jordan Davis goes 13 to the Eagles. We already talked about him, so we're not going to talk about him too much. But 14, we got Kyle Hamilton going to the Ravens. The Ravens waited patiently, stayed at 14, didn't move, didn't budge, which they did almost all draft. I don't think they traded up or down the entire time, and had an excellent draft. What do you think about Kyle Hamilton to the Ravens, Ray?
Top 5 talent, man. With the 14th pick in the draft. I mean, what else for all you got to say? I mean, the guy is.
I hate when the Eagles do that because every time the Eagles trade up, it's a player that there and I want, and I think they're gonna get, and then they give the next team right after them that player. I mean, it happens all the time. But hey, man, Kyle Hamilton's a great player. Stop talking about his 40 time. It's over with. It's done. Watch him work. He's going to be amazing, especially on the Ravens, who already have a lot of good players on their team already. So kudos to the Ravens, man. I'm so jealous. I really am. So
I love the 40 time element, man. So Kyle Hamilton clocks in a little slow on this 40 time, even though he's a stud when you watch him play. Jordan Davis is a solid player when he plays, but he ran a good 40 time. It's just a star.
He definitely is a stud. He definitely is a stud.
He is, man.
I agree. Right. And we had this conversation on our other podcast. So let's definitely move on to the next one. The Houston Texans taking Kenyon Green from Texas A&M. Ray, what do you think about this one?
I think Kenyon Green is a good football player. I think they overdrafted him. I think he should have been. To me, he was at end of the first round, maybe even a day 2's pick. So,
I agree. I do like the pick more than most people, though, because they really did need offensive line players. And if they would have traded back, it would have been that much of a better pick. I don't hate the pick at all. I mean, if there's a guy there that you like and he don't move the needle that much for you, just grab him where you can. So I think this is a stacked offensive line class, and this team, no matter what, the Texans need every pick they can. So no, honestly, there wasn't going to be a lot of pushback with any player they got, honestly, because they really need a lot of positions right now. I thought he would be there much later. Yeah, I agree, but they're Texans right now. You can't a team that honestly, I feel like a team that has so many holes and so many needs, just take the guy that you like the best. If he's higher on your draft than most and if you look at your draft board and you're like, all right, we really want an offensive lineman, and our team is not that good, they just grab him here and don't risk not having that guy. So I'm okay with it. I am okay with it. Let's get to our next pick. The Commanders getting Jahan Dotson, wide receiver from Penn State. Ray, what do you think about that pick?
Probably the dumbest pick of the first round so far. I don't take slot borderline outside receivers in the first round, dude. I just won't do it.
Ooh. I won't go as far as to say that because the Jahan Dotson.
Who's throwing him the ball?
Carson Wentz.
Do you want Carson Wentz throwing the ball the way he does with 5'10" receiver? I don't.
True.
Have you ever seen him throw the ball in a guys where he didn't have to reach up for the ball?
Yeah, he usually throw high.
So how's Jahan Dotson at 5'10" and a half going to catch the ball from him?
Ray, you got a point there. Carson Wentz does throw high. If anything, he'll always throw high. So I see what you're saying.
I like Jahan Dotson.
With taller players. He played better with taller players. I mean,
he did.
Alshon Jeffrey, what's his name from UNC?
Oh my God, dude.
Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman.
Yeah, Michael Pittman. Yeah, I mean, man. I just think, man. I like Jahan Dotson. I respect Penn State. I don't want to sit here and bash one of their players. But I don't take slot guys that can do one thing pretty well in the first round. I'm not going to do it.
Right. And you did give a really good point about Jahan Dotson with Carson Wentz, the parent of those still. I do agree with that. I do like Jahan Dotson though. So
I like him.
I think it was early. I do think it's early. I think you could have got him later on if you would have traded back or whatever. But yeah, I mean, as a player, I like him.
Jerome, I think that
it was a better.
This is a weird draft.
Yeah,
I only had first round grades on 17 players.
Wow.
I had 43 second round drafts. 43 players with second round grades. Jahan Dotson was definitely a second round grade.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't blame you on that. I like him a lot too. Size is a concern, but I think he's better than the guy that they had before at Penn State. Way better than him. So I like him.
I'm not saying that I don't like him. I don't really like him for Washington, and I don't like him this early. That's all.
Definitely. All right, LA Chargers. They got Zion Johnson. Building around Herbert, right? What do you think about this pick?
I like Zion Johnson. I would have taken him before Kenyon Green, but I don't know if I would take. I don't like drafting interior offensive linemen this early unless I truly think they're special. I don't think either one of these guys are special. I think they're good.
He went at 17, so it's like for me, it's like it's not really early, but it's not really late either, to be honest. Like, I think 17 is okay. Like, okay spot. Like, especially if you have the guy that you like. And I always look at more than just the pick itself too. Like, kind of like you just did with Jahan Dotson. Zion Johnson on that offensive line next to what's his name? Slater. Dude, that is a good pairing, right? I love that.
I think it's a solid pick. It is.
Yeah.
It's a solid pick.
Mcduffie or Wyatt to Chargers. I get I would have liked Wyatt to the Chargers. Duffy, I don't mind it. But the Chargers just signed a lot of corners last year that are very solid guys, and I think they're banking on Asante Samuel's son.
You also have to remember with the Chargers, they have a defensive minded head coach, and he probably feels like he can get more out of the defensive guys and needs to get more talent. And their offensive line has not been great. It was a little better last year. What made him even better was the fact that Herbert was a little better process in getting the ball out of his hands.
Yeah, and he's still mobile, so we got.
And he is mobile also, exactly.
So. All right, next pick we got Treylon Birch. So basically, the Titans traded out their pick for AJ Brown to get Treylon Birch essentially and one extra pick. Where would you think about this pick?
I like Treylon Birch. I think it was a good pick. I think what we were talking about earlier with Allen, I think Allen may agree with this. I don't know if he's still listening or not. Yes. For this year, the Eagles would be better for this move. 2 years from now, when they're still paying this guy on a rookie contract, then Tennessee will probably benefit from that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Treylon Birch, I like him. I really do like him a lot. It's hard for me to see how he's definitely going to be your number one receiver. That's 100%. With that being said, you letting your rookie receiver be number one receiver. Well, I'm sorry. I do have Robert Woods, so that lightens up the load. I do like Robert Woods a lot. Hopefully they are able to use him like the Rams did. And then obviously you guys are run first team. So
right.
I don't hate the pick. I don't. I just hopefully he plays the way he looked like he could play, and I think he can, but we'll definitely see. It doesn't matter who we have. Tannehill is average.
Is that Allen?
Yeah.
No, I agree with that, but I think that you guys did a nice job of getting a quarterback that can develop in the third round. So,
yeah,
I think that like Ryan Tannehill, which it's funny how things go in a circle. I remember when you used to criticize me because I had Ryan Tannehill on my team. How you feeling about it now, buddy?
Oh man, that's funny. That's funny. All right, let's get to the Saints' first round pick, and they got Trevor Penyon from North Iowa, not North Carolina. Ray, what do you think about Penyon right there?
Way too early.
Yeah,
I think Trevor Penyon was definitely a second round player. Oh my word! I think that.
Ray, look at Allen. He said, "Got me." Good.
You know what, Allen? Honestly, all due respect, Ryan Tannehill is a good quarterback. He's not $30 million good, though. That was their mistake, really.
Yeah,
right?
that's rough.
I like Trevor Penning, but I don't like him in the first round. And I don't think that you're going to get a lot out of him this year. I think if you put him at right tackle, he'll be fine. I don't draft right tackles in the first round. That's all.
Penning's a little tight in the hips for me, he says.
He is.
Truth not 10, 30 million. Yeah.
I mean, I think Penning's going to be a good guy if you let him move forward, like being a road grading right tackle on the right side. He's fine. Again, I don't draft them guys in the first round. That's all.
All right, real quick, Ray. Your choice, Spencer Brown or Penning. You know, those teammates, they're about the same size.
Spencer Brown.
I agree.
Lateral quickness.
And the thing was, Spencer Brown was a third-round pick.
That's what I don't want because they overvalue tackles too. Yeah. We know that. Spencer Brown was a guy who was looked at as a developmental player, and Trevor Penning is way more developmental than Brown was.
Mm-hmm.
They just overvalued him because you know why? Because some people like how tenacious he played, and I understand. I like that too, but not in the first round.
I think a lot of people also kind of compared the two because the two they're very comparable. You know what I mean? Even
not athletically though.
Exactly, but it's for them to be like, that same size, the same weight.
It's like comparing. It's like comparing John Runyon to Trey. Who was the Eagles' left tackle then?
Trey Thompson.
Trey Thomas.
Sorry.
I mean, you can't compare apples to oranges. Trey Thomas was a good lateral moving athlete who played left tackle, and John Runyon was a road grading right tackle who needed to move forward. And when he had to move backwards, playing against the guy from the Giants all the time, used to get his lunch handed to him. Trevor Penning will be a good player if you let him road grade guys. And when you ask him to move backwards or laterally as a pass blocker, it's not going to be good, especially not the first year. It's not.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a tough way to replace what's his name too. So your guy
Again,
now.
I like the player. I don't like where the player was taken. That's all.
Lawrence Smith. There you go. So
That's
all right,
all.
let's get to our next pick. The Pittsburgh Steelers getting Kenny Pickett. So this was my prediction of the draft, and I aced it. I got it completely on. Ray, what do you think about this pick?
Second worst pick of the first round.
Stop. How, Ray?
Kenny Pickett is a backup quarterback, man.
Ray, they didn't. No, I don't believe that. I'm sorry.
Okay, all right.
I don't believe that.
You remember Matt Moore, who played with Miami and Carolina?
Yes.
Kenny Pickett 2.0, buddy.
Okay. We'll see. I mean, I think it was perfect. He's staying in the city, so he don't have to worry about his hands. That's what everybody's worried about, his hands. I'm telling you. Way overdrafted.
Who said that?
Your guy, Mr. Allen.
Allen again, right? Okay.
I think that he was the only.
I think me and Allen agree a lot more tonight. Me and Allen agreeing a lot more tonight than we ever did when we were on the show together.
No, what the heck? Dang. But yeah, he was my QB1 in this draft, honestly, and I think that his athletic ability, he's he got good arm. I think that he'll be fine because one, the Steelers are a run first team. That's one. That's first and foremost. Two, he's in the city, and you got some good pieces around him. You got fat.
Who has more of an upside?
He's a good, huh?
Who had more of an upside, Malik Willis or Kenny Pickett?
Malik Willis.
So who was taken in the first round? Who's taken in the third?
Malik Willis.
Why?
Because we're not gonna get into this right now. We got time restrictions, but we will definitely talk about it later on.
All right.
We'll definitely talk.
Well, you asked me what I thought about the pick. That's all I'm telling you what I thought.
Okay, I'm just letting you know that I like the pick. It was exactly where I mocked him at, so it's fine.
We've said that we thought that it may happen, and you did call it correctly. But it's funny. Like, I kind of feel like I should apologize to Coach Braxton for last week because he thought that Malik Willis would go to Pittsburgh, and I didn't think Malik Willis would last to Pittsburgh, and I was wrong, and he was right. And then they should have taken Malik Willis because right now they'd be in a spot where they need to. Here's the thing: Kenny Pickett doesn't need to be developed as much as Malik Willis, but Kenny Pickett has no upside. His floor is exactly what he is right now. He's 24 years old, going on 25. That's another thing.
Right. Yeah. I agree with that part. You gotta remember too, the Pittsburgh Steelers don't have to really change their offense for him, though.
You don't change your offense for anybody. If Malik Willis was there,
I don't know. You might have to do the Jalen Hurts situation with Malik.
No, you might. If Malik Willis was a quarterback on the Steelers next year, and if you wanted him to play, it would be like a 1 or 2 read option, and then probably take a bucket and run with it.
Exactly.
The only difference is Kenny Pickett will probably do the same thing, not wanting to.
I don't know if it's a want thing. I think it's more of like you shouldn't with him. You don't need to. I mean, like I said, you got Pat Fairmouth, who's a good receiver, tight end, which, especially with young quarterbacks, they like their tight ends. They got good one there. They got good running game. I am concerned about their offensive line with him. I will say that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think their offensive line is still that good.
It's not good.
You're being sarcastic. I'm sorry.
No, it's not good. So you put a less mobile guy back there with an average. Basically, let's face it, the Steelers' running game has been like fairly average the last couple of years, and now, what does that say?
Tennessee made that mistake.
Yeah, well, that's that was the funny thing. This is the same league where Jake Locker has been taken in the first round, and who was the other guy for Minnesota? Kristen Ponder was taken with the 12th pick in the draft, and no one would take a chance on Malik Willis. Really? Wow.
That was my biggest thing on this whole thing is that Malik Willis didn't go. I mean, but we'll talk about that later.
We will,
because we got a couple more picks and we're over an hour now. So let's go to 21. Kansas City getting Trent McDuffie. Ray, what do you think about that pick?
Love it. I think Trent McDuffie is a good football player. I think that they needed a corner. I probably would have went Elam there, but you could go either way there and be fine. And like we said during our mock draft, Andy Reid has always valued corners on defense, and he still does. So, there's fine.
Yeah, I love the pick too, Ray. I think that is a great pick for them. Great spot for him to go at 21. I know a lot of people have him drafted in the teens. I didn't really like that, honestly, but I love him in this area. And then Kansas City, they definitely you always can't go wrong with Kansas City getting defensive players, which they got a lot this year. So I'm happy about that. Pick number 22, Quay Walker going to the Green Bay Packers. So I know a lot of Packer fans was not happy about this because they didn't get the wide receiver right away. But Ray, what do you think about this?
I'm not as ecstatic about this pick as some people were. I think Quay Walker is a good, solid football player. Again, I don't think he was a first-round player. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have taken him there. If I was going to take a linebacker, I would have taken Devin Lloyd. So we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, and that was my biggest thing about it too. Is Devin Lloyd was still on the board, and I definitely, you're right. If you guys haven't been watching this podcast, you don't know how much I love Devin Lloyd and my favorite linebacker of this draft. I really wanted the Eagles to get him. But I think that Ray's smiling because he knows. Whatever, man. Anyway, Ray, you was right. We didn't get a linebacker in the first, but I'm happy with what we got in the third. So hey, you can have
I agree with that.
You can have that one.
You know what? We talk about this all the time, though, Jerome. It don't matter where you get the guys you need, you value and you need, as long as you get them.
Exactly.
That's all.
But yeah, I do agree with you that there was better linebackers on the board. I don't know how I feel about this one, honestly. I don't know if I hate it. I don't know if I love it.
The problem is with taking a wide receiver is the top receivers were already taken.
Yeah, and honestly, like I feel like the top receiver they could have they got in the second round. The one that I feel like hurt them the most.
Yeah.
My guy. So Christian Watson.
Yeah.
My main crush. So.
Yep.
All right, let's get to number 23, Elam. Kyron Elam going to the Bills. Ray, how you feel about this?
Love the pick. Hate the fact that he went to the Bills, but love the pick. I've been telling you, like, for one, when we did the mock draft, when I forget somebody took, and I said, well, the only pick I would have made before that would have been taking Elam to Buffalo. They need better cornerback play. They do.
That was my pick, and I gave them Jordan Davis.
Yeah, you were just praying the Eagles didn't take him, so you moved him down.
No, I had the first Eagles pick. I wasn't gonna draft him with the first Eagles pick. I just wasn't. But after me, I thought somebody was gonna pick him. I actually thought he was gonna go the second first round pick to the Eagles, and I forgot. I think it was Corey had him, and he didn't pick the Eagles. I mean, he didn't pick him for the Eagles. So I was like, okay. And then he kept falling down the board. I'm like, all right, if the Bills are there, that would have been a perfect pick for them. Obviously, he went way earlier than that, but Elam. I mean, I love Elam paired up with Tre'Davious White. I mean, dude, like Tre'Davious White is a top 5 corner to me anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and plus it gives you a great pairing now, and you're going to need them to play against Miami this year. So
another reason I love it.
What's that?
The Bills got pass rushers. I mean,
yes, they do. The Bills are a good team, man. They're really a good team. They are. They're really.
They're looking really.
I'm not gonna pretend like they're not a good team. They're a good.
They are looking really good right now.
Those are a good team.
Really good.
I just gotta hope that Leslie Sherman or Leslie Frazier has another brain cramp this year, and not have to worry about them. That's all.
Oh man, that's funny. All right, let's get to our next pick. The Dallas Cowboys take Tyler Smith from Tulsa. Ray, why isn't this the worst pick of the draft?
Because they need an offensive lineman. They got a guy who I thought had upside potential.
So you like this pick?
I'm not saying I like the pick. I don't think that he was a first-round player for me. But again, we're in the 20s now in a draft where I only had 17 first-round players.
Horrible pick, Ray. Horrible pick. Horrible pick.
Okay. All right.
You know why? Because the guy right behind him got drafted. And again, oh wait, no, the Ravens did trade for this pick, I think. So they did trade in this draft.
They traded up to this spot.
Yeah, they got Tyler Lindenbaum right after him. And I would have taken him. I don't care. Like
they needed a tackle because they lost a tackle this year.
Yeah.
Well, you can't play you can't play Linderbaum at tackle.
So you reach on a player?
They rush. You know what though, Jerome? Like we talked about, they rush for an offensive tackle, and teams have been doing that for 20 years too. So,
yeah, you're right.
I'm not saying he was a great pick. I'm saying I understand the pick.
I just feel like they reached on him, and Linderbaum was right there. I would have rather them take Linderbaum. They could have got Devin Lloyd.
Everybody, honestly, Jerome, if I look at this, every player after now, to me, Jahan Dotson is a reach. That was a dumb first round pick. Every player after Trent McDuffie and even a couple in between them were bad picks.
All right. I mean, wait. You think Linderbaum was a bad pick?
No, I think Linderbaum was a good pick.
Oh, okay.
No, I think he was a good pick.
Right.
I think Linderbaum. Here's the thing. I think Linderbaum was because of his position, was a second-round player, but because of the need, he was a first-round player.
Yeah, and I love that for the Ravens. So let's get to the Jets. Now they have 3 first-round picks because they traded back up with the Tennessee Titans to get Jermaine Johnson in the second from Florida State. Ray, what do you think about that pick?
Good pick. Yeah, the Jets moved back up because they wanted an edge guy and they got their edge guy.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about the Jets needing the edge guy. They got one. I think in our mock draft, somebody got one for them. Oh no, they didn't. But yeah, they really stacking up on their defense, which I like. You know, pairing some guys up. They got some good safeties and stuff like that. Now, Jermaine Johnson's gonna fit right in, and I love that pick. One of my favorite picks of the draft, honestly. Well, first round rather. A guy that should have been in the teens, a lot been being mocked in the teens, fell down for whatever reason, and they picked him up. I think he's a really good guy. Number 27, my favorite player of the draft, Jacksonville Jaguars go get Devin Lloyd, linebacker. So Ray, what do you think about that pick?
Love Devin Lloyd. Like the pick. He was one of the few linebackers I actually had a first round grade. I think that I wonder because they drafted Muma in the third round. Yeah, I wonder what their defense is going to look like this year. Mm-hmm. I think that it's schematically they look like a team that should run a 3-4 because then they have Josh Allen playing that edge guy in a 3-4. I think that they're going to do that. I'm excited about what their defense could be. I am.
Yeah, I'm curious about that too because, like you said, they got Muma. They are traditionally a 4-3 team. So are they changing? I would hope so, honestly, like you said.
I think personnel almost dictates that you should, at least, if nothing else.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I like both the linebackers. There were 2 linebackers that I hope the Eagles would have got. So, I mean, I like the picks. It's crazy how they got both of them. But let's get to our next pick. You got the Green Bay Packers getting Devonte Wyatt from Georgia. Another Georgia guy going to the Green Bay. How you feel about that one, Ray?
I like Devonte Wyatt, but again, I saw him as a second round player. I think he's versatile. I think he can do a lot of different things for you. I think he's a solid pick.
Yeah. I think that I don't hate it. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think obviously Green Bay Packers should definitely build on what they've been doing with their defense lately, which I think their defense is probably one of the best ones now. We're starting to be. They're getting really good on their defense now. They lose a couple of pieces, but I think that they're gonna have a and like Alan said, man, the Packers are loaded on defense, and I agree. They're packing up on that defense. They got some really good corners. Safeties are really good. They got the pass rushers are good, led by my guy from Michigan. Um, but yeah, I think that they're really shaping up to be a good defense, which is good for them because I think that Aaron Rodgers lost a couple of weapons, so it might take them. I don't think it's going to be a big learning curve, but I think it's going to be a little bit of hey, it's not the same type of offense really, and it might take them a little bit to get used to each other. But so that defense is going to have to be really good, and I think that it is. So, all right, let's get to our next pick, number 29. The Patriots take a stranger, Cole Strange.
I mean, I think it was a little bit of a weird pick. I think that Cole Strange is a good player, though. And I think Bill Belichick doesn't care what anybody thinks, especially not me. So he'll get him on the field probably. So it'll look like a solid pick for them. But it was a little bit early, for sure.
Yeah, it was definitely early. It was a weird pick. I was about to make the horrible pun of saying it was a strange pick. But it was a weird pick for real because I think it was a little early. I like Cole Strange. We got to interview him at the Senior Bowl. Really good, solid, nice guy. I think it was weird because the Patriots usually don't have questionable picks, and this will be probably the first one in a while that I thought was questionable. I even thought N'Keal Harry made N'Keal Harry made sense back in the day. Now looking at hindsight, it was a terrible pick.
Who was it that said that N'Keal Harry was not going to be any good?
Who said that?
Who said that?
You? It wasn't that. It wasn't that I thought he was going to be a good player. I just thought
if you're not good playing with Tom Brady, you probably shouldn't be in the league.
Yeah, that's a problem. It's a problem. All right, number 30. You got Kansas City getting George Karlaftis at 30.
Great. Absolutely great pick, dude. Yeah. Great pick.
Alan said Strange.
Kansas City had a very solid draft, man.
Strange is just as good as the Texans' 13th pick, which was Green. No, I don't agree with that. I'm sorry. I don't agree with that.
No, I don't agree with that at all either.
Yeah.
I mean, get me wrong.
I like Strange.
I like Cole Strange, but I think Cole Strange was definitely
Green's better.
A second round pick at best. I think Kenyon Green, who I think Green was drafted a little bit earlier. Honestly, I think that Kenyon Green should have went 25 to 32. Mm-hmm. But I just don't. I'm not going to say that Cole Strange is better than him because I don't believe that's true. So.
Yeah, actually, in our mock, we had Green going to the Bengals at 31.
Right. I think that's where he should be taken somewhere to set the third half of the first round. I think Cole Strange, you know what the problem with this? You can make a statement like that because one guy's going to be coached by Bill Belichick and one guy's not.
True.
So,
True. Next pick, we got 31, Daxton Hill going to the Bengals. How you feel about that one, Ray?
I like that. I like Daxton Hill. I think it was a very good pick. I think that's exactly where he should have been taken, right there, early second. I think that's a great pick for them. The Bengals had a solid draft too. They did themselves a good job.
It's funny because I was like, man, this is a great pick for them because they can get rid of Eli Apple and let Daxton Hill play corner. But I think Daxton Hill might actually just play safety because they drafted somebody in the second round. I forgot exactly Hill, who was a good corner, I think, for them that could be better than what's the name too. So you already know how I feel about Mr. Apple. But let's get to number 32, the last pick of the first round. Minnesota Vikings got Lewis Sheen from Georgia. What do you think about him, Ray?
Great pick.
I think so too.
Big Lewis Sheen fan. I think honestly he's like the third or fourth best player on Georgia's defense, and a loaded defense. And
Mhm.
kid is a smart football player who, believe it or not, I know I've said this like the third time, led Georgia in tackles last year. So
Yeah.
that tells you about how not only about him as a player, but how versatile he is as an athlete. So
No, definitely. No, and I agree. I think that it was a good pick as well. I think that he went exactly where he should go.
correct.
I really do think that was like a literally where he should have went. If
I
he was there, I think he was top 5 in the second round.
Yep, I think him and Daxon Hill, even though they're not exactly the same, they have similar traits to them about how they play football.
Yeah.
And I think you get them guys, man. You're talking about you're going to get solid safety play for 5 to 8 years of really good high caliber football. So
I agree. All right, so that's gonna do it for us today, guys. The whole first round took a lot longer than I thought it was going to, but hey, man, we enjoy this stuff, and I hope you do as well. So if you do, go make sure you go follow us on all the social media on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Inside the Hashes. Make sure you follow us on our YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe on there. Also, if you want to pick comments on here, if you can't watch live, like my guy Alan, so thank you, Alan, for being on here. Also, Remy, thank you for being on here earlier as well. And everybody else that have been checking this out. I've been seeing y'all checking this out. You just don't want to comment. It's okay. If you don't want to comment, you're shy, you don't want to comment live, that's fine. You can go on our YouTube channel and comment right on there. Alan said, enjoyed it. Great job. Thank you, guy. Thank you, my guy. We appreciate you. We do miss you, guy. Hope you're doing well in Texas. But yeah, go make sure you go follow us on all that. Like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, where you can find us on there, and hit that notification bell if you do want to see it when we go live, because we do go live. We don't always go on Wednesdays. We usually try to do Wednesdays, but things happen. So we went on a Friday today, but we'll definitely be back next week, talk about some more draft picks from day 2. So we're gonna go on day 2. We're not gonna go through each draft player like we did today because it took way too long. But we will do that. So make sure you go like and subscribe on there. And if you want to put a comment in later on, you definitely can. So go on there and put a comment on our YouTube channel, and we will reply back to your comments as well. Also, make sure you go check us out on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, where we have all our player interviews on there as well. So make sure you go check that out with guys that we have. Guys that we talked to at this Senior Bowl, like Cole Strange and a whole bunch of other great players. Kyle Hamilton, Evan Neal, they're all on our Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts, or anywhere you listen to your podcast. Type in Inside the Hashes, type in the player name, and you can listen to their interviews right there as well. So yeah, that's gonna do it for us today, guys. We're gonna be back next week with a day 2 analysis. Thank you guys for checking us out. I'm Jerron Jones. That is the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Ray Roberts. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next week. I hope you stay safe. Peace.